What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 4, Episode 12. So, we're still at Wanda's menu testing, where she invited her whole entire family to come and test out the products on her menu. And everything went completely left at this menu tasting because Tisha's entire family began to question Marceau and Marceau's loyalty to Tisha and whether or not Marceau was ever cheating on Tisha, so on and so forth. So, if that wasn't enough, here comes Cousin Kiki. Cousin Kiki comes to the event. She sits down next to Tisha, and it doesn't take but a hot minute before these two women get started. So, Tisha's mad at Kiki for not standing up for her at Melody's pajama party. Not only just not standing up for her, but for being involved with the gossip that was going on about Tisha and her marriage to Marceau. Kiki's mad at Tisha because however many years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, Kiki said that she had confided in Tisha about something very personal, and Tisha went and told Melody about it. So they start going at it, blaming each other. Kiki takes absolutely no responsibility for what she did. Tisha took responsibility for what she did at a previous episode. She explained why she ended up telling Melody. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think Melody had invited Kiki to some event. Kiki couldn't come. And I think Tisha felt like she had to tell Melody the exact reason why Kiki couldn't come to this event. And so she had to tell Melody what was going on with Kiki, whatever this personal issue was. So she somewhat took responsibility by like saying, yeah, I did talk about it, but I was close with Melody. I was confiding in Melody, had no idea that Melody would come back and spill the beans. Now, Kiki herself doesn't take responsibility for talking about Tisha at Melody's party because every time Tisha accuses her and says, you did this to me, you betrayed me because you're talking about me to someone who doesn't like me, who clearly wants to see my marriage fail. You're feeding her false information about my marriage. You're getting involved with this gossip, this takedown of me and Marceau. Kiki won't admit it. She'll just come back with, well, you talked about me. Well, you talked about me. So they're going back and forth. It gets pretty heated because Marceau gets involved in this argument. Marceau and Kiki are going at it. Kiki threatens Marceau and says, if you want, I can lay it all out on the table. I can talk about it all. Marceau says, basically dares her. He's like, hey, go ahead. I don't care. Go ahead and say whatever the hell you want to say because if you lay it out on the table with me, I'm going to lay it out on the table with you. So they're going back and forth. Kiki's husband is there. He has to step in and get in between Kiki and Marceau because, he feels like Marceau is disrespecting his wife. So now the two men are going at it. It's just a complete free for all. Now, Marceau says that whatever information was revealed about Kiki, it was not private. It wasn't personal because the streets were talking. The streets of Huntsville were already talking about whatever the hell Kiki's issue was. Now, Kiki says, I don't give a damn what the streets of Huntsville thought they knew about me. Y'all were participating or contributing to revealing my personal information. And then Marceau said something that was typical Marceau, but stupid. He says, well, just because it was your personal information doesn't mean, well, what did he say? He said, just because it was your information doesn't mean that it was your personal business. Or just because it was your business, it doesn't mean that it was your personal business. What the hell does that mean? I'm pretty sure, Marceau, you're smart enough to know what can be considered personal information and just regular for everybody to know information. So Wanda has to step in, tell everybody to pipe the hell down. It kind of sort of starts to calm down. Now, what the ironic thing is, Kiki's sisters were there. Kiki and her sisters don't even look like sisters, but Kiki and Tisha look more like sisters than cousins. That was kind of funny. So it finally kind of calms down a little bit. Tisha, of course, has to run off crying. And that was the end of that. Nothing was resolved. No kumbaya moment. No, let's hug it out. Let's try to do better. None of that. Now, Tisha's thing was she's saying that Melody was just using Kiki to take her down, because Melody is her sworn enemy. So she was trying to let Kiki know Melody is not your friend. She wants to act like your friend by telling you what I told her about you 5 or 6 years ago so that you can feel like, she's, trying to bond with you or she's trying to confide in you. But she was just trying to turn you against me so that she can just use you against me. That's all that was. Now, Kiki asked Tisha, so are you saying that me and you had never talked about our husbands possibly cheating on us? And Tisha was like, of course we've had conversations, but I guess Tisha's point was, I never came to you and said, hey, I'm so worried that Marcel is cheating on me. I think Tisha was trying to say we've had generalized conversations about, well, what if our husbands were cheating on us? What would you do if you caught your man cheating? Just girlfriend talk. Not like, girl, this is what's going on. This is what I found. It was nothing like that, according to Tisha. So that was just a huge mess and it didn't end well. Tisha and Marcel, I think, ended up leaving and that was the end of that. Moving on. Kimmy and Destiny. So Kimmy and Destiny are meeting up at Destiny's house. Kimmy, for whatever reason, I guess because she doesn't have a storyline of her own, she is really involved in the downfall of Destiny and Melody's friendship. I don't understand. These two women have decided that the friendship is over. They don't want nothing to do with each other. But for whatever reason, Kimmy feels the need to try to mend this very broken friendship. So she goes over to Destiny's house. They get to talking. First, they start talking about Stormy, and I didn't understand. Okay, so they started talking about Stormy, and Kimmy was just trying to get to the bottom of like what really went down between you and Stormy, and she was trying to tell Destiny when you called her sweetie, because that's, y'all were going good until you called her sweetie. And then, Stormy got really like offended by being called sweetie because it sounded very condescending. And Destiny actually was like, I wasn't trying to be condescending. I always call people sweetie. I'm from the South. Girl, it got nothing to do with you being from the South. You know damn well when you called that woman sweetie, you were talking down to her. You were dismissing her when you called her sweetie. It's not because you're from the South. It's not because y'all are girls. It's because you were really trying to put her in her place by calling her sweetie. So let's not even pretend that it isn't what it was. So, Destiny says, well, I have a lot on my plate, with her divorce and everything else. So maybe she was just acting out. And then they talk about her friendship with Melody. And Kimmy was like, isn't this just like a bump in the road? It's not like the breakdown of a friendship. Y'all are just going through, a rough patch. And Destiny is like, no, it's not like that at all. And in her confessional, Destiny was, boo-hooing about how her and Melody were both going through a divorce. And I guess Destiny thought that maybe they would have really been there for each other at that moment. But, we know what happened between Melody and Destiny. Melody overheard Destiny talking to Tisha about her, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. Melody got upset. You're talking to my enemy. You're talking to the ops. And Melody was over it. Melody was done with Destiny. So, Destiny is really sad about it. But Destiny covers up her sadness with trying to be very defensive. And Melody, I like Melody. I do like Melody. But Melody, I just don't think is someone that you could really, I don't think Melody really knows how to be a good girlfriend to anybody. Melody is so guarded and she doesn't want to show any type of vulnerability. She's always trying to act like, I'm that boss. I got businesses. I'm making money. I'm making moves. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I just don't see Melody as someone who can really have a close relationship with other females. I think with her, it's just probably going to be her mom, and her kids. I think those are the only people that she can really be close and vulnerable with. Everybody else is just, you just have to serve her a purpose or get out the way. So Destiny and Melody, their friendship seems to be completely over. So Kimmy, please give it up. So moving on to Tiffany and Lewis. Tiffany is back from her trip from Utah, Alabama. And she walks into Lewis's gym to talk to him because she's trying to make time for her man because he complains about her not making enough time for him. So she comes into the gym and she says to him, when I came back from Utah, you really didn't ask me how my trip went. And I was just like wondering why. And Lewis said, well, I was just trying to give you your space. I didn't want to bombard you with a whole bunch of questions. I'm just trying to let you, rest up and then you'll come talk to me about it whenever you're ready. But Tiffany still felt some kind of way that he wasn't like, oh my God, tell me what happened. I want all the details as soon as she walked in the door. So then he basically puts her to work. He's like, you see those t-shirts over there? Can you please fix them up for me? Because on his shelf, his display shelf of t-shirts, the customers kind of rummaged through everything and it was looking a hot mess. And I was like, what? Okay. So after that, they start talking about. She finally does tell him what happened in Utah. She talks about the fact that her father in 1987 could have faced a real lynching for dating or impregnating a white woman. Like that was a very real deal type of thing going on, even as recently as 1987. And so she talks about the racism that is still very prevalent throughout the United States, but definitely in that small Alabama town. And really, I think, I don't know, she found people who knew her mom. She kind of ended up nowhere with finding her dad. So Lewis asked her, do you think that it was beneficial to have Melody with you on this trip? And Tiffany was like, yes, I think it was very beneficial to have her with me. And Lewis says, well, despite what people say about Melody, I'm glad that, she stepped up to be there for you and to go with you on this trip and to support you. I still feel like Lewis is still resentful that she's flipped the script on him and canceled him out and replaced him with Tiffany for this trip. Because it's not like she had initially chose Tiffany. She initially chose him, and then she X'd him out and went with Melody and still kind of got nowhere. So I think that Lewis is still a little bit resentful about that. Moving on. So Martell is having a meeting with his business partner, manager, Hermelnika, I think her name is. So they're having a very casual meeting, like in this like at this open area. Like I don't know if it was a park or whatever it was. So they're at the park to have this very casual meeting about his upcoming trip to Atlanta to promote his winery or his wine business. And he shows up, business casual, like super duper business casual. Like he had on his blazer, his, suit, his pants and everything, but his shirt was buttoned down like Saturday Night Fever style, practically down to his belly button. And I'm like, even though this is a very casual meeting, it's still a business meeting, Martell, and we do need you to be casual but appropriate. So yeah, I didn't like that at all. I was like, what the hell are you trying are you trying to show off your body? Like, what's going on here? So they start talking about the trip to Atlanta, all the stuff that she's got planned for him when he gets there, whatever. Martell, please stop the nonsense. Drop the wine. And I understand this is a legacy to your grandmother. You named the wine after your grandmother. I totally understand that. That's very sweet. Martell, get into fashion. Do a menswear, please, because I think that's more his style. The man doesn't even drink, but he's got a wine business. You understand and fashion. You can bring something new to the table. Get into fashion. Start a men's clothing line. Stop the nonsense and start a men's clothing line. Anyways, moving on from that, Marceau and Tisha. So Marceau and Tisha, they're wherever they're at, some restaurant, and they're still not on the same page with Wanda's business. I guess, Marceau is still kind of iffy about it. We all know he's going to cave. We all know he's going to give in. He's probably going to end up buying Wanda like the most expensive, decked out food truck anybody has ever seen. He's going to help Wanda. So I'm not even paying attention to him acting like he's not sure. Then they talk about Kiki and what happened at the menu tasting. And of course, Marceau talks about how crazy her family is. They're all, whatever. So Tisha says that when her and Kiki were arguing at the menu tasting, she really saw hate in Kiki's eyes. She tells her husband, that was like, I saw that this woman really, really doesn't like me and she really wants me to fail. And, she starts crying, she's got to pull out a tissue, dab her eyes because she's really sad. She was like, Kiki was like my best friend. She just wasn't my cousin. She was my best friend. And then, I just saw all this hate in her eyes. And I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I don't think Kiki and Tisha were ever that close. I think because they talked about how their parents, Miss Wanda and her brother, raised their daughters to be very, very competitive. Because Kiki, I think, came from a more better off family, and Miss Wanda was sort of resentful, I guess, that her brother's life was a little bit better than hers, and so she wanted her daughter to be on the same level as her brother's kids, and so she kind of the brother and the sister kind of raised their children to be very competitive with one another and to try to outshine and outdo the other. So I don't buy that Kiki and Tisha were like just best friends and really loved each other like that. I think there was always a sense of competition between them. I think that they did get along. I think that they were close because they were cousins and they spent a lot of time together, but I don't think they were like ride or die for each other. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think they were ride or die. So Tisha crying about her friendship with Kiki being over, girl, I don't think it was that deep. I mean, if for her to change so quickly, for Kiki to change so quickly on Tisha, for Melody, someone who she's not even close with, and for her just to flip like that on her own cousin, it just lets me know right then and there. Maybe Tisha, you thought y'all were close like that, but Kiki didn't think y'all were close like that, because it was really easy for her to throw loyalty out the window and to be part of this conspiracy, as y'all call it, to bring you and Marceau down. So I don't think y'all were that close. Or Tisha, you probably misunderstood your relationship with Kiki. So Tisha says that she tells Marcel, I'm not really bothered by what people are saying, but if I ever come to you with a question, I need you to answer me directly and not just joke around about it. And Marcel got real serious real quick, because at first he was just, talking to her real casual about her crazy family. But then when she said, hey, look, when I come to you with questions, you need to give me direct answers and stop playing around. Marcel got real serious, and he was like, well, you need to, what did he say to her? He says, you need to pick and choose real carefully what kind of questions you come to me with. Don't come with me and disrespect my character. Don't ask me disrespectful questions. So he's still trying to somehow, he says, yeah, I'll answer you directly, but don't you dare come to me with some nonsense, with some BS questions. So it was kind of like, I'm going to let you do that, but he's still going to control the narrative. He's still going to control what information she's allowed to get. Like, he's trying to tell her, look, you're making all these demands on me, but don't think that you're going to get whatever you want out of me. Okay, I'm still in control of the information that flows from me to you. So I thought that was really interesting, the way he acted like, hey, you better not come to me with some nonsense questions. Then I'm going to give you some straight answers, but don't come to me with some nonsense. And we know exactly what he's talking about. Don't ask me about infidelities and other women and whatever rumors you're hearing on the internet, on the blogs, wherever you're getting all this information. Don't come to me with that. You can ask me anything else, but don't come to me with that. That's how I took it. So then one example that he gave her of a disrespectful question was when she asked him if he had brought wine. This was like a previous season, when Tisha asked Marceau if Marceau had ever brought a bottle of wine to Melody, because I think, it was their product, their wine product that they were manufacturing, producing, selling, whatever. And so this was when Melody was really going through it with Martell, caught him cheating. Her and Martell were arguing. And so to comfort her, allegedly he had brought her a bottle of wine. Now, Tisha says the only reason why I even asked you that was because that's what you said you did. And I think that's exactly how it happened. I think he said he had brought her a bottle of wine. I think that's how, no, Martell had said that. Oh, I don't know who said it, but Tisha was like, well, you're the one that brought up the wine. That's why I asked you about it. And Marcel was like, I didn't bring Melody any wine. I don't even know where Melody lives. Well, was it said that you brought it to her house? He said, I don't even know where Melody. I thought, anyways, I don't remember how it went down, but he denied it. He was like, don't be asking me dumb questions like that. Moving on. Kimmy and Melody. So Kimmy and Melody meet up, and Kimmy's whole purpose of the meeting is to talk about Melody and Destiny and their friendship. And Kimmy's small talk is weak. Her small talk game is weak. She acts like she's interested in what's going on with Melody's life. You know, she asked her, Melody said she was dropping another song or that she'd already dropped another song. And then Melody brings up her trip to Utah, Alabama with Tiffany. And Kimmy's like, oh, that's interesting. Well, let me tell you what else is interesting. Your friendship with Destiny. Kimmy was not interested in nothing else that was going on with Melody. She only wanted to talk about Destiny. So she brings up, you know, how at the Galentine, you know, when Destiny and Stormy had butted heads and were going at it and were arguing, and they had to separate the two women, and they brought Destiny to the back. Melody came and checked on Destiny. And so Kimmy was like, you know, that just really shows, that's really spoke a lot about your friendship with her for you to go back there and check on her like that. You know, that means that there's really something there between y'all. And Melody was like, no, that just speaks to my character because I'm always going to watch out for other people. So just because I'm not fooling with you doesn't mean that I want to see you fail or I want to see you in distress. You know, I'm always going to look out for people because that's just who I am. That's just my nature. And so then Kimmy was like, well, is it in your nature to, you know, give her a call and see how she's doing? And Melody said, well, right after your Galentine party, we spoke on the phone, but the conversation went left. Destiny got really, really defensive. And so I had told her, well, you're acting very defensive right now. So let's just finish this conversation up tomorrow. And then the next day came and she didn't call me. So I guess she was fine. And I haven't talked to her since. Melody can't be nobody's friend. Melody cannot be no one's friend. You know, she can be like a surface friend. You know, you go out, you have a good time, and then that's it. But not like I need to confide in you. I just don't see Melody as someone that another female can be really, really, really close with. I think Melody can lend you an ear. She can support you. She can be there for you if you needed help. Like if you really were in a desperate situation and you really needed somebody to pull you out of this, you can probably go to Melody. But I don't think Melody is like that everyday kind of girlfriend. Let's talk on the phone for hours. Let's go shopping. Let's go do this. I don't think Melody's that kind of but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But so she was like, yeah, I never talked to Destiny again after that. And so Kimmy, then Kimmy starts talking about, well, Destiny doesn't have a big support system here in Huntsville, and she needs all the friends that she can possibly get. And I liked it when Melody said, well, when she was going through her divorce, she didn't want to talk about it with anybody. So she's already proven that, she's already made it very clear that some things she just wants to handle on her own. And I respect that. Like, I'm not going to be her village because she's clearly has shown that when it comes down to it, when she's dealing with some stuff, she doesn't want nobody around her. She doesn't want to tell anybody what's going on. So what village are you talking about that she's needing? Because when she was deep in it, she didn't call no one. She didn't ask for any assistance. She didn't confide in anyone. She handled that all by herself. So what are you talking about? She needs a village. So when Melody said, she wants to do things on her own, and I respect that. What could Kimmy say? Kimmy came back with absolutely nothing. Moving on. So now we're at the boys' trip. This is Martell's big trip to Atlanta that he's invited all the guys to. Martell needs single friends. Okay, I don't understand. Okay, first of all, this is a business trip. Martell, you need to treat this as a business trip. Please don't talk about strippers. Don't talk about you cutting up. Don't talk about you wilding out. You do that with your single friends, okay? Or you do that on your own. You are with 3 married men. It's not going to be like that. He sounded stupid sitting in that van talking about all these crazy things he plans on doing. And the other 3 guys are just sitting there solid because, obviously they're on a TV show and there's cameras there. They're just sitting there quietly watching him, not speaking, not doing anything, but just looking at him because they can't participate in those things. What are they going to do? What are they going to say about it? Nothing. So this is stupid, Martell. You look dumb. You look dumb trying to act like, oh, this is the boys' trip of a lifetime. We're going to be cutting up. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. And, you can't do that with these 3 married men. Like, what are you talking about? Just go there, promote your little wine thing, and then come back home. Please keep it cute, keep it simple, and keep it quick. There's none of that. I don't even know why you rented an entire mansion. I don't know what you think is going to be going on in that mansion. You're not Hugh Hefner. This is not the Playboys. Atlanta's version of the Playboy man. I don't know what you think is going on, Martell, but it's not going to go down like that. Okay, it's just you look stupid. You look ridiculous. So that's where it ended, and who knows how that's going to go. So that's my review. Thank you so much. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't like this content, don't worry about it. But thank you for stopping by anyway, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.